it is hard for us living to compare ourselves with those who have made such a sacrifice. The surviving loved ones do not have to look far to find their heroes. Especially as Baldwin wrote to her parents, when you start to miss me, look inside your heart and you will find me. We should all look inside our hearts. We may not find our heroes, but we can examine what type of country that we live in. No matter what the critics say about America, can a nation that produces such remarkable men and women be anything but a force for good? War is often not the best policy, but the heroes that wars produce are the best in America. Again, thank you for giving me this opportunity to give thanks to my brothers and sisters that sacrifice their lives for freedom. Thank you for being here. And as we remember those who have given the ultimate sacrifice, may God bless you and may God bless America. And Dr. Fisher, thank you very much. I would like to read this and present you with this. It's a proclamation from the governor of the state of Maryland. And I'm going to read the warehouse clause. Memorial Day, May 30th, 2022. Whereas on Memorial Day, as throughout the year, we honor and pray for the men and women in uniform who answer the call of duty, maintain the security of our country and the liberties we hold dear. And whereas we as Americans have a solemn duty to perpetuate the memory of those who believe so deeply in our country, could we and are we willing to give their lives to protect this freedom? And whereas it is appropriate and fitting for us to recognize the vital role of Marylanders who have played throughout the history while faithfully and honorably serving in the armed forces. And whereas the citizens of Maryland pledge to those who gave their last full measure of devotion in service to our nation, that we may continue to enjoy the freedom we so deeply cherish. Now, therefore, I, Lawrence J. Hogan Jr., Governor of the State of Maryland, do hereby proclaim May 30th, 2022, as this Memorial Day in Maryland, and do comment this observance to all our citizens.
Everybody, he asked me privately, that was our time too. He asked me privately, couldn't speak a little bit longer. And he has been.
Thank you.
So, Commander, it wasn't so much time for you to go, we were testing the mic. So, you know, it's time, we were testing the mic too. So, it's Zoom, can you hear us?
But it is a great privilege for me to represent my department with all you here today.
Everybody, he was spectacular. I don't want to see that. All the stars. How does that look to your family? You all right with him? With all these stars.
Stars for you.
Am I gonna be anywhere right here? Yeah. Yes,
Untitled Chapter for the Transgender Veteran Support Group. And I am a director now for the Trans Veteran Support Group International. I take care of the LGBT resources for them. So I'm doing a lot as far as taking care of those people. Out there, we have a lot of groups out there supporting the transgender community who are serving or have served in the military. And that goes to say, I myself am transgender. I actually in 2011, I joined the Maryland Defense Force. And in 2012, by the Maryland director, as well as the Maryland Defense Force, I got NCO Soldier of the Year for the state of Maryland. In 2013, by the State Guard Association of the United States, out of 35 states, 43,000 soldiers, I got the Soldier of the Year of the country. So, thank you. The only problem about that, I have a lot of female soldiers coming up and saying, thank you for your service. Thank you, you're doing it for us. But I said, you know what, I'm also doing it for the transgender community, which at that time, I couldn't really say because they didn't accept us in the military. Now, once President Obama, raised the flag basically for us to be able to serve, I just came out even more so. ABC 2 News out of Baltimore did a report on me coming out, and everybody in my battalion up in Maryland thanked me for my service, thanked me for a great report that they did for me, and they were just really proud to know that they had a transgender person serving in the battalion, and it was great. So with all that going on, when I got Soldier of the Year of the country, I got the same response, but yet I still couldn't be able to say that I was transgender or so now I'm able to do that proudly. I joined the Women's Veterans Community United Incorporated, and it's been great serving with these ladies, putting us out there, doing everything that we can do, and serving. One thing I really want to emphasize is the fact that when trans people are out there serving, whether they're serving as trans male or trans female, if they're murdered and killed in line of duty out there, when they come home in that casket that was covered with the flag, U.S. flag, you don't know whether they're cisgender, you don't know if they're transgender. All you know is who's in that casket covered with the United States flag served to protect you and your life. So I just want to honor not only them, but everyone who serves in this country, and just pay honor to them all. And thank you for being here today.
Thank you for being so faithful. And she is. Pastor, never speak about organization. The Church United Committee Incorporated 2022 Wednesday supporting organization led to First Sergeant Karen Holmes, U.S. Veteran Reserve Corps, First Maryland. I want to say thank you. At this time, something unique has happened. WVUCI took 3 positions in a department. It took 3 key positions. One of our directors became the commander. A company came to chief of office. Oh, I don't want to hear that. She took and James can stand up with her. She's so sweet. All of us have leadership skills. All of us have been taught through this organization empowerment and advocacy. This is what we do. We teach our women, then we make sure they're placed in key leadership positions to serve willingly so that we can reach out to everybody. At this time, we have Department Commander Georgia E. DAB, District of Columbia, and she was elected to that position, and she is the Director
Women Veterans United Community Corporate. Jordan, you have 5 minutes. Oh, you are a hard act. Wow. First, I just want to break greetings from District of Columbia Disabled Earth Veterans. I'm a proud member. I've been there for quite a few many years. And besides what Dr. Peace, I will not take claim today to belong to all organizations, but it's all about comradeship. It's all about being there for our families. So in a Memorial Day like today, this is a day I can remember back in the days, my younger days of working. Like, oh boy, it's a holiday. I'm off from work. I work today. I can shop. We can cook out and have picnics. But that's not the true memory or reason for Memorial Day. Memorial Day is to welcome, remember our loved ones that fought for us and did not make it home. Some of those made it home because of the scars that they bore from a war. They lost their lives. And went on the glory anyway. So that's what Memorial Day is all about. We don't get rich benefits, cookouts, and we love to eat. We are people mad and plenty. And so we fought for wars where they said you were fighting, but we didn't get freedom. We understood that life was not free. Some people, when they signed on a contract years ago, especially our females, let's not forget that they are forgotten force. But now we're coming back into reality. They are the ones that made it possible for our males to get out there and fight. They didn't have to worry about what was happening on the home front because they had women there taking care of their families. When they were out in the battles fighting in the beginning of the wars, World War I, World War II, we had a lot of nurses, female nurses that went over. Us as females could just go over. But as a nurse, you could go over. We had women that were fighting, lost their lives because they bore the gender, took on the gender of their husbands. They disguised and went out and they fought. They did not know they were not men until death. And what a smart way to get your recognition, death. But nonetheless, they did what they do. Did what they had to do. So that's what we're recognizing today on another Memorial Day. We're recognizing those that gave their lives, even some of our loved ones who are not here today. My husband was a big-time Vietnam veteran, and I'm a witness here. 3 times he went to Vietnam, and every time he went up, he came back home on the stretcher, on the burn, whatever they want to call it. And he came back, he bore the shackles in his body. He could not take it out for fear of death on the battlefield. He lived some years after he succumbed to that injury. Those are the people we remember today. We have 2, 3 of the war females, if I recall, from DC. I don't know if they're living or dead, but it was still for the memory that they're not here with us in the flesh today. Those are the people we are recognizing today on another Memorial Day. Those are the people that we can say gave up a lot. A lot of us gave some gave all. They were those that gave all. I came off the orders for Vietnam. I was in Vietnam era. I was on orders for Vietnam with the 11th Special Forces. I was with the 5th Special Forces, but they took me off because my brother was there. So I was saved. But we had women that were not saved, that they did for hope. So we kneel down and pray every night. Let's remember those that were with us, and they're no longer with us. This is Memorial Day. We're going to remember that. We're going to remember the women out in the streets, the women that we erect this memorial in behalf of. Know that they were sent for a purpose, and they served us. They gave their lives. Like I said, some gave all, but there's some of us gave some. There's some of us that gave all. They're not here with us today, as we remember them for another.
Everyone, what she didn't tell you, what she didn't tell you about. She is Captain Georgia Lee, and she was a paratrooper. She was a paratrooper in Vietnam. And this is something you don't hear about. She never talks about it. She never talks about it before her. And this is who I'm extremely proud of. Proud of her as I work for them.
And can I just say something right quick? I just want to bring that up. I was the first part of the first 100 females to go through jump school and become a paratrooper. So it was like, oh God, when we got time
It's your song. Empowerment, we are advocates together, such as Henry Williams, such as Georgia, Tiffany, and such. All of us working together to exchange information, and we are leaders. Next, we will have Ronnie. Next, we will have Dr. Marion Jones, she in our organization, historian. Dr. Jones, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can everyone hear me? Hello. Yes, can everyone hear me? Hello. Yes. Okay. Can everyone hear me?
Here.
Okay. Well, thank you all for coming.
It's connected to that. Does this have a connection? I might be able to connect directly to this phone, but I can hear it here.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thank you.
I can connect it directly to this phone.
Let me see what happens if I disconnect.
Okay. Everyone can hear me, okay? Thank you for having me here at the Memorial Day observance. I wanted to speak to you. Can you hear me? I don't hear anyone hearing me. If you can hear me, please, could someone please let me know in the chat? You can hear me. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Phyllis. Thank you, Dr. Fisher. Thank you to our speakers. I wanted to speak briefly today. As we all know, we need to honor and celebrate veterans, Maryland veterans, and all veterans 365 days a year. This weekend, we honor and remember veterans who have given their lives for our country. I study and I share stories of women veterans and women veterans struggles, as well as women veterans sacrifices and also contributions, more importantly. As one of our previous speakers discussed, that includes transgender veterans. And we have come too late to appreciate the contributions of transgender and intersex veterans to our country. First, I'm just going to talk about a few people today who have given all. And I want to talk with start with Casimir Pulaski. You may know from the Pulaski Skyway and Pulaski County, Virginia, who was a Polish immigrant and a veteran, and who now we know was actually born female or intersex and may have transitioned to male or chosen, whose gender was male, or may have cross-dressed as a man to serve as a leader, and who led many Revolutionary War campaigns in the United States, on behalf of our fight for independence from Great Britain, and who died in one of those campaigns. And then, as we will jump forward to hear about Cathay Williams, who was a Black woman who was born enslaved in Virginia, and who actually succeeded in gaining her freedom, and then served in the Union Army and as a man, and served in her unit, and was only discovered as being female when she contracted smallpox, which was a terrible illness, and was hospitalized for smallpox. But was still allowed to serve. She was an exemplary and outstanding soldier, and was still remained in the unit, and in fact served with their unit through after the Civil War when they were out in New Mexico. And in 1868, actually had to be discharged for medical conditions because she'd been marching. I mean, imagine marching and walking from Virginia and Maryland to New Mexico. That they didn't necessarily by plane back then. And she actually then in 1889, 1890 was suffering wounds and injuries from her service and applied for a pension and was denied a pension and died of her wounds. So today we remember her and remember all of the women who were not treated fairly by a military and a country they served. Black women, many Black women in the military, and many women who cross-dressed to serve. Going forward to the Spanish-American War, I want us to remember today Clara Moss, an Army contract nurse who served, who was not recognized officially as a member of the military, the Army, but who served in Cuba as a nurse, and who also served as a volunteer medical participant with Walter Reed's experiments. And we know about Walter Reed Hospital, named for Walter Reed, who ostensibly discovered and proved that yellow fever was transmitted by mosquitoes, and then was able to then institute prevention measures to prevent the US military in Cuba and going forward from suffering more yellow fever deaths. Well, perhaps the hospital should be named Clara Moss Hospital because Clara Moss actually volunteered to be a subject to be bitten by mosquitoes that had fed on the blood of yellow fever victims in order to prove that yellow fever was transmitted by mosquitoes. And she died of yellow fever by being an Army volunteer doing this. And Jesse Lazar also did. And part of the story, I won't go into much here, was that Carlos Finley, a Cuban, had already shown that yellow fever was transmitted by mosquitoes in 1883, but the US military was not going to accept that someone named Carlos had shown this, and so Walter Reed had to do it. So let's remember Clara Moss, Army nurse, and Carlos Finley today. In World War I, going forward, this was the war that Black nurses broke the color line and served in the influenza pandemic at Camp Sherman in Chillicothe and Camp Grant in Illinois. Many of these nurses came from Maryland and DC and had trained at Freedman's Hospital, now Howard University Hospital. Nearly 300 nurses gave their lives in this war, most due to the influenza pandemic, including Eddie Mae Perkins, who died at Camp Meade in Maryland, now Fort Meade, and Charlotte Cox, Assistant Superintendent of the Maryland University Base Hospital Unit. Moving to World War II, where 350,000 American women served, and about 543 died in service, serving their country in the field, in the Pacific Theater, in the European Theater, and of illnesses contracted in service. And then I'm zooming through this, but we have to go forward to Korea and Vietnam and remember that many nurses and who served in Vietnam and many other women who served in Vietnam actually gave their lives either during the conflict or as a result of physical or mental wounds suffered in the conflict. And the latter group has not been recognized, but I will recognize today Army First Lieutenant Sharon Ann Lane, who was killed in action on the 8th of June, 1969 at Chu Lai. And then after the Vietnam era, during the Cold War and during the wars that we were involved in and in South America, we had many women who were serving. And now as of late 1970s, you had women going to West Point and being admitted to West Point. And one of these women was U.S. Army pilot Captain Jennifer J. Odom of Brunswick, Maryland. And at age 29, she was on a reconnaissance, a super secret reconnaissance mission in Colombia. And her plane crashed into a mountain and the crew members passed away. It never was confirmed that the narco traffickers killed her, but we believe that that was the case. And she died honorably in service of her country in the war to prevent illegal drugs from coming into this country. After 9/11, of course, women began to serve in battle openly, more openly, and now since 2015 officially. And today, I'm going to remember some of the Maryland women who passed away, who died in this fight. And there were many women, but I will talk about one woman from Baltimore, and the Baltimore Sun has an excellent article on her. This was Army Specialist Bakara Green, who was 23 of Rosedale, and she was the first military woman from Maryland to die in OIF. And she actually died in 2005. And if you go to the Baltimore Sun, the headline is that she loved her country and died in Iraq serving it. And I think we can say for the women who we remember, who gave everything, I think we can all say for all the women that they loved their country and they died serving their country, or they died from injuries and disabilities suffered through serving their country. And today we have to really honor them and honor the depth and the extent of what they gave for all of us. So thank you. This is just a brief overview. We could talk all day, and I encourage all of us to look into the lives, the exemplary lives that these women live, and not just remember their deaths, but remember the lives they lived and the contributions they made during their lives to their families, to their country, to their units, to their friends. And I thank all of you for listening. And I appreciate everyone here gathered today to remember the true meaning of Memorial Day. Thank you.
To ensuring that our women veterans and women that have served are receiving the benefits and the recognition that they deserve from their time serving in military service. So again, I bring you greetings. I am a veteran myself. I'm retired from the U.S. Army. And
Can you hear now?
yes, and
I had to unhook the mic.
And I am a combat disabled veteran as well. So we thank you so much for your support, and we look forward to participating in more events. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Ms. Jones, in Zoom land, they're saying thank you. Of course, as the sun goes down, you can see our screen a little better there.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good day today. I'm glad the weather held out. My name is Gene Judge, and I'm the Director of Operations for the Maryland Turnpikes with Arius USA. And I just wanted to say thank you, and we're very honored to do this every year. Tommy had the pleasure of doing this every year. Now he brought me on board to say a few words. I do want to read a statement from the Maryland Transportation Authority. This is from Executive Director William Hines, who couldn't be here today. This upcoming holiday is more than an official start of the summer. Memorial Day holds great significance for our veterans and families. Each year, we honor and remember the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Many of us will visit cemeteries, memorials, hold family gatherings, and participate in parades around the area. I ask you to join me this weekend in keeping these brave men and women in mind. At our Chesapeake House, Travel Plaza, there's a monument recognizing all Maryland women who have served in the military services. Throughout history, Maryland women have been a vital part of our armed forces, even at great cost. Today, they encompass all duties across the military branches while facing the same risks as men as well. I'm grateful that the Chesapeake House is home to a monument that gives them the honor and respect that they definitely deserve. Thank you to all of our veterans and to those who bravely lost their lives in combat. We enjoy the land of the free because of the brave. And I just want to say thank you to everyone on the panel that has served. It's an honor to do this, to be able to speak at this event. Thank you.
Today and the weekend is a celebration of the Lord for those that serve, those that gave their lives for this country. Since the first shots, in the Battle of Concord to the last shots that were in Afghanistan, women have always been homeless. Even as we celebrated the Star-Spangled Banner, which was written in 1814, the Battle of Fort McHenry, women were in there for it. That helped the service. There was 1,000 U.S. citizens versus 5,000 British male and female. And if you look at Harriet Tubman in the Civil War, what she accomplished. So it is a celebration for all the women that have served and not known that they served. So I'm glad to be here because I've got family that's been in every war for this country, both now and then. My mother actually built planes in World War II. And her best friend actually flew B-17s from the U.S. to Greenland and to Ireland without ammunition.
Yes.
So thank all you.
Everyone, I'm calling up the commander, the state commander, because we have forum this year. We had women's rights, we had Women's History Month. Last year here, they were sponsors for all those events.
They sent a letter for our Women Veterans event in March. They have always supported us in writing and with money. Not with lip service, but with writing and in money. I have these pages. Can you stand here? Everybody. Can you tell me the honors of presenting? This Elizabeth, will you guys come up? Gee, how you gonna know?
I don't know why.
Didn't know you were coming, but this is for.
Thank you.
And also, they make sure we have the best food in America. Of all the events, except for Joseph. But anyway, so we have for those people you can have bring us your food, throw a sandwich, and Phillips Seafood Restaurant. And we would like to thank you, and I want to thank you again for supporting us. Always. Thank you for all very much. Now at this time, as we get in, we're going to go in. Quickly. What? No, you got to do it quickly. No. Quickly, come on.
What I wanted to do, because the man talked about the budget numbers. I had some in my car. I wanted to go and get one, give to everyone here today. Because he talked about the budget copies and had awesome fun symbolic of Memorial Day. So, and just a little about our budget copies is that this is my copy. This is a little red copy. And this is a red flower, and it's for all, regardless of who you were or where you were. The budget copy is symbolic of Memorial Day. It was expanded in the year 1923, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it was created for their buddies that went to war, World War I, and did not make it back. And so they created a copy, which was called Buddy Copy. And that name still holds true today. Buddy Copy is started with Bill Flanders, which is for the life and death of war and duty. So you can wear it very proudly, knowing that you stood for someone that gave their life so that you might have your freedom that today you still do that have. Thank you.
Make sure we all have it. Now we're going to go into our memorial service.
Dr. Fisher, excuse me. While she's passing them out, if I might add that now the Buddy Poppies support the homeless. So when you see on Veterans Day, the veterans out with the Buddy Poppies, they now support the orphans, widows, and children of those homeless veterans. So
They even have homes for them.
Yes, they do. Yes, so the legacy lives on with the Buddy Poppies.
At this particular time,
I know you.
at this particular time, I need people to come out. These flowers have the names of women who have died on them. I need you to come up and take one, a couple, or whatever you take home. And I'd like you to read the name of whoever you pick up. So please come up and take some. Put on your desk, give it to friends, take as many as you want. Our women must be remembered. Take as many as you want and just read their names aloud. Or whatever it says on it.
Dr. Mary Walker, Civil War.
Lieutenant Reba White, World War II. Mata Mahar, World War I. And Eleanor Cordero Vita, Vietnam, never came home.
Come on, anyone else? Someone else take some?
Betty Ann Olsen, Vietnam, never came home. Angie Newton Keith, World War II.
Isidore Oler, World War II.
Evelyn Anderson, Vietnam, burned to death. Edith Carbell, World War I. Bailey Ford, Civil War.
Dr. Eleanor Ardell, Vietnam.
Major Pauline Cushman, Civil War.
Next month, they all have to go. Everybody take a drink mark.
Lieutenant Susan Pinch, World War II. Mildred Comic Fish, World War II, freedom fighter, executed.
Helen Roselle, World War II.
Oh, yes, the last one. Let me just see, you take those two.
Lieutenant Leona Jackson, World War II, and Lieutenant Mary Harrington, World War II.
And I want you all to know when it said burn to death means that when she was in prison, they burned her to death. They burnt her alive to death. And also, when I had to look at the research, and that hurt me to my heart. And then to have to be executed. The women were executed. Now we will need people to come up and you first. And let's see, Miss Jones and
Georgia.
you two work together and come up. And anybody else, I need for you to simply light a candle. One candle. As I call it out, whoever wants to light it, come light it. Anybody from the audience, you can light a candle. Whichever candle you decide to light, you have to call out that candle. Just like one candle.
United States Army.
Yay.
All right. Maryland Defense Force.
United States Navy,
Yay!
Even though they're not military, I'm gonna go ahead and take care of them. Department of the Air Force.
All right.
On the airport.
You gotta know the Space Force, before they named the Space Force, we had people to die. And who you like?
United States Marine Corps.
Woo!
Mine was for the Space Force.
Anybody else? Come on out. Come on out there, Come on out.
Come on, sweetie, you come like
Recognize
come on up, but
the POWs.
POW.
all right.
Stay close. Don't do that.
Oh, she's gonna like. She's gonna like.
No, you still have some
So
more.
we're gonna figure out how to open it.
Sweet one. Okay, you get it. Here's one right here. Here's the lighter right here.
Hold on, Richard.
Please. Come on, not.
the United States Coast Guard,
Now, everybody, we're gonna place flowers so they will be remembered. As you place a flower, anybody, you place it between here and you call off which one you're placing the flower for. You have to place a flower. Come on. Yes. You have to be in the military. And you know you're first. I got you. I told you that. I'm gonna wear you out. Come on. This thing is too up. Go ahead.
POW MIA.
You must remember.
United States Marine Corps.
You must remember.
United States Army,
You must remember.
United States Coast Guard. United States Coast Guard. We must remember the Defense Force.
Five minutes space there.
Space. Air Force. Who haven't we said anything for?
Where's my Navy at? I'm recognizing all my family that's been in the Navy. Since the conception of the Navy.
And now for me, let's see. Who have we forgotten? Why were they not there? Army.
No, Army was
What we did the Army.
We did Maryland military.
We did that. We did the Marine Corps, we did the Coast Guard. Well, I'm doing an extra one for our POW women.
Right.
And everybody, all these squads, we're gonna go to this Georgia East because she'll run me death by getting to us. So Georgia East.
I got to go lay a brief
So now you have your flowers in place.
But these flowers.
And with that, everybody, at this time, everybody is spoken. So I'd like to thank you for coming. And may we have a closing benediction. Tiffany and Tiffany at this time. Oh, I am so sorry. Thank you. Thank you. That's why she's my number one. And now we will have benediction.
Most gracious and heavenly Father, as we remember our family, friends, fallen comrades, Father, we thank you for this sacred time. Father, we thank you for those that have joined us and those that could not join us. And Father, we thank you for the opportunity to honor each and every year as we stand here at this Women's Memorial to honor our comrades that have given the ultimate sacrifice. Blessed in your name. Amen.
Thank you for coming.
Before you end, I would just like to have our coordinator of this event. It has been an awesome event. The decorations have been just superb. So we need to recognize Dr. Fisher for all she gives. We thank you and we welcome. I mean, we appreciate all that you have done for us as female veterans. And even though you came behind some of us, you paved the way for all of us. So we thank you.
And we love you.
Thank you. And I'll be back next year.
I love that you're a hugger.
Thank you. All right there on Zoom land. Thank you, Dr. Jones, again for staying with us throughout the whole program. And Phyllis, thank you both so much. Dr. Fisher, ladies, can you guys wave to Dr. Jones is giving us kisses. Goodbye. Thank you so much. Yes. Her and Phyllis. All righty. Have a great one, ladies.